soup. Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me have some more RPG horror stories. I am a cat. Meow. What is the context for this? Even I don't know. Well, we'll never find out. Anyway, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. DM made my monk go berserk. Oh my god, I think I have a good one. Forgive me if it's too long, backstory is needed. When I was a teen, I, a 16 female at a time, joined my first RPG-D&D campaign ever with a DM in his 20s. I made a forest elf monk who had a very peaceful personality, only used violence as a last resort, liked children and animals, blah blah blah. On the first and second session, I found a potion beckoning to me. Admittedly, I was given the potion to drink it or not, but I could obviously tell the DM wanted me to do it, so I did. Turns out the potion unlocked a berserk mode in my character. Every time I failed an attack, not crit fail, it was any fail, I would have to roll a successful wisdom saving throw or enter this mode. Basically made me super strong and violent like a barbarian's rage, except I couldn't choose to dispel it without another successful saving throw. If there weren't any enemies around, I would just start attacking allies. You know, something very similar is actually a thing for Blood Hunter, but only in a specific situation. It's not per every miss that you do. That's crazy. With Blood Hunter, basically, if you choose Order of the Lycan with werewolves and stuff, rawr. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, if you choose Blood Hunter Order of the Lycan, you have something called the Bloodlust mechanic or something like that. Basically, whenever you shapeshifted into your werewolf or lycanthropy form, if you start your turn with half your HP or below half your HP, you have to roll a wisdom save against, I think, as a DC of 8 or something, and if you fail it, you attack the closest target that you have nearby. Could be an enemy, could be an ally, but basically that's something you gotta have to do every single time, and health becomes a very strong thing to kind of keep the bloodlust at bay, or position yourself in a very cool way where you can specifically focus on attacking enemies and then get healed up later on by party members or something, or maybe, I don't know, put to sleep and go out of your lycanthropy form, stuff like that. But to do that on every miss is crazy. This obviously kept happening for a few sessions, and it was quite frustrating. Tried to look for a cure to no avail. Cut to a few sessions later, the party was investigating a werewolf den. The werewolves came out and we started fighting them. I failed a save, went berserk. At first, the DM was letting me describe the actions myself, but on this occasion, he just took control of my character. Made me go into the den and took my character to the room where the werewolves stashed all the kidnapped victims. Then he proceeded to vividly describe my very peaceful monk being overtaken by his blinding rage and tearing multiple women and children apart, and I could do little about it or control it in any way except for some saving throws. This is a whole cutscene after the monk got the victims, by the way. It wasn't as if the DM was bothering to give me the chance of making a saving throw before each attack. So they basically took your peaceful, loving character that just doesn't want to do any of that and basically did the opposite of what your character would want to do in a situation because of this berserk mechanic. First of all, that's some nonsensical backwards logic that I've ever seen. Not even letting you control yourself and just not even describe everything, but just hijacks your character to play a cutscene, to play some sort of brutal, gorish thing because they were like, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, they think that everybody would think that'd be so cool. Everybody's gonna be like, man, Kyle. I don't know if the DM is named Kyle. I'm just assuming Kyle because it's just a Kyle kind of name. Man, Kyle was so cool. The brutalization stuff was so dope and sick and epic, man. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it was actually cool, right? No, Kyle. No, it's not cool. You're taking away player ages away from the player because you gave them the stupid potion and can't even have them just get rid of it, even though they clearly want to get rid of it. This DM sucks because they're taking away your play agency just to play out the super gory, epic, whatever, bloodthirsty cutscene and stuff, which is cool violence and gore. Cool, man. Now you're ruining the play experience for your player because you're forcing the player character to be in a cutscene that they didn't sign up for, and they don't have any player agency in because the only thing they can do is keep failing those saving throws. Wow, so fun, dude. So fun. Such fun time. Wowie wow wow. Being a newbie, I remember leaving that session feeling awful, but couldn't pinpoint if it wasn't supposed to happen like this. I talked to the DM about it, said it made me uncomfortable and disheartened about the character. And the cherry on the cake was that he said he was trying to impress me. Wow. She must be so impressed, guy. She must be so impressed. A 20-year-old DM is trying to impress a 16-year-old girl. Be like, wow, look at this. I made your peaceful character become a giant psychopath murderer. Look at the pile of bodies that I created. Do you like me now? Are you impressed by this? Who in the right mind thinks that's going to impress anybody at all? Who in the right mind? Why? This is insanity. me. He made all those gruesome descriptions of violence because he had a crush on me and wanted me to think he was cool. Dude, you're a 20-year-old trying to hit on a 16-year-old. No, you're not cool in the slightest. Not even a bit. Not even a tiny little insy-binsy bit. Not at all. Holy hell, this is insane. Obviously, making my first ever character go through a load of trauma that went against everything he was supposed to represent wasn't the way to go. Luckily, 16-year-old me was wise enough to leave the campaign at cut ties. Only wisdom saving throw that I succeeded in. This DM sucks. What they do is terrible. Don't take away your player's agency just to force a cutscene through them, especially with something like this to try to impress somebody. Everything's wrong about this. There's everything wrong about this. Do not do what this DM does. It's fine to have like a cutscene play out. It's fine. But don't take away player agency for the sake of just doing something cool, sick, and epic to impress a 16-year-old because you're a 20-year-old dude and stuff. That's weird. Everything about it is weird. It's weird to do this to impress somebody, but it's also weird the fact that a 20-year-old is trying to impress a 16-year-old because he has a crush on her. Everything is just weird. Everything is weird. I'm done with this story. We're moving on. I'm just done. AITA for making a request to my group. Here's the deal. I've been gaming with the same group of 5 for a few years now. Due to other obligations of everyone, we only get to meet once a month. The issue is that my group is so paranoid about being TPK'd that even if one person cannot show up, the remaining 4 all mutually agree to not play. Started a new campaign with them this past week. It's the first time I've DM'd something for them since November. The previous campaign ended with a reason in the above paragraph. However, I made sure that everyone agreed to a specific term. I told them that while I was not expecting everyone to show up every time, I was no longer going to go months without gaming because so-and-so isn't here, so we can play. And if you miss one session for this reason, will not run for them again. AIT for making my group agree to this. Also, because everyone asks, none of my sessions fall during any major holidays or events that majority of us attend. You guys are already meeting up for once a month and you just want to have a consistent session and you don't want people to be like, well, Josh can't make it and we're so scared of TPK, so let's not play in general. I feel like maybe if it makes your players feel better, you could give a caveat of, how about we do this? Since you're afraid of TPKs, I'm gonna make sure the campaign is balanced to not have TPKs. And if TPKs do happen, there'll be some sort of a way to rescue from some sort of a situation and stuff. Like, I understand failure and death and potentially even a possibility of a TPK can always be up on the table, but to have such crippling fear of the players literally say, guys, I think we should cancel for this month, let's just meet up next month, I feel like it's a little bit absurd. At the end of the day, you're getting together to play with players and stuff in order to make sure that you can have a fun time together. I mean, if they're worried that a missing person is there, just be like, okay, I'll make Jerry the gnome the DMPC that shows up whenever somebody's not there just to make sure people stay alive and stuff. How does that sound, guys? Is that gonna alleviate your stress and stuff to be there to basically have like a support NPC that basically helps out and everything? You guys are already meeting up once a month already as is with all the scheduling and stuff, but to have to move it to the next month and stuff would be just asinine and insane. Obviously, you just want to play a game more consistently. I would say if your players really aren't vibing with that sort of clause, maybe it's just best just to say, listen, it's just not gonna work out for me. I want more frequent games. I want more recurring games. Maybe find different people to play with. But ultimately, I don't think there's a problem with you saying, hey, can we just have more consistent games? Even if a person misses the session, it should be fine. Can we please just play together? I want to play together. Please, let's play together. I understand the fear about TPKs and stuff, but I mean, I feel like you should trust your DM. I trust my DMs and stuff to just not give me a TPK. Well, I trust my DMs now. In previous campaign, there was some DMs that could be very questionable, but in this campaign now, Mary, Micah, and 2 other DMs in training, yeah, I trust them because at the end of the day, I feel like they're not trying to create a session just to TPK like the other server and stuff. They're trying to run a fun game where everybody can have a good time. I personally don't think you're an a-hole. You just want to play more regularly. You guys are already playing only once a month. What about the people watching the video? What do y'all think? Is OP the a-hole in this situation, or is it something OP can say to the party to try to convince them to actually show up on the monthly occasion? Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. Cross-gender gaming too far. This is a Discord campaign with a large party of mostly new 5e players. During pre-session 0, I found one of the DM's wife and stepdaughter will be playing but using voice changes to sound like men. I figured, why not? And set one up myself. The DM, who is a real AI wizard, helped me set it up. I referred to everyone by their class to keep it simple. The first 8 sessions were fine. No issues I noticed, and things were going well enough that we'd all gathered pretty good gear for a learning campaign. The DM's family was even considering dropping the voice changes since we were close to wrapping up. Session 9 is where all things went sideways. Barbarian blurts out, "I hope the innkeeper struggles tonight. I like when they fight back before the fun." Awkward silence follows. I get a DM from the monk joking about roll for struggle snuggles. The Gloomstalker DMPC and Paladin DM's wife object in character. The Bard DM's kid 18 or 19 objects out of character. We'll move past this moment and finish the encounter, barely. At the end of the fight, the Bard, War Domain, and Wizard are dead. My life domain is down. Only the monk and Barbarian out for health. Barbarian starts role-playing, saying, "The only thing better than a helpless single mom is making a helpless single mom," and asks to cut off my character's feet. The monk jumps in, not to defend me, but to fight over who gets initiative, because apparently my character is the prize. Several people drop from call at this point. What is going on? Cut off your feet? Like, do they have like a foot fetish thing? They just want to be like, "Boom, the feet look sexy. I'm taking mine. Yoink." What? What is going on? What is happening? What the hell is going on here? The DM tells them to stop and points out they've made everyone uncomfortable, asking why any of this would be okay. The monk responds by saying I haven't said anything and claims I'm probably muted for breathy words. What does that mean? I had to exit the program to disable my voice changer. When I came back, furious, asked in my real male voice what the actual frick was wrong with them. Immediately they started making gay accusations. They decided I must be my character's cuxband, keeping the elven lady for the real men she needs. Me and the DM left the call and took a much needed break. What the hell? Cuxband? I think you're just playing with the sexes and assume you were a woman. As soon as you changed the voice and got out the program, they were like, call you Cox. What the hell? Where did the DM find this person? What the hell? Just to process everything. You're basically playing with sexes. You're playing with Barbarian and Monk that are basically gooning over your character and basically just saying some extremely uncomfortable, struggly, snuggly or phrases, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't make sense at this, but it doesn't matter at this point. And then literally got to that point or going for that point because of the AI voice that you... How good was your insanity? I'm trying to wrap my head around everything or what's going on. What the hell? Aftermath. A few hours later, the DM texted me asking if I'd seen the Discord server. The R channel was flooded with posts from a deleted user. Multiple not safe for work AI images of their fella, Photoshop lewd images of the DM and his family, and links to random explicit pages with derogatory comments. My inbox had dozens of not safe for work edits of my OCR with messages like, being better than your husband. Okay, hold on a second. So I'm trying to piece it together because I feel like this is a story with incomplete sentences and incomplete fragments. But I think what is going on here is that Barbarian and Monk, I guess, got the hots for your character and maybe actually thought that you were an actual woman because of your voice changer and started making AI posts of like their character with your character and stuff and something better than the husband, the cuxband and stuff. Insane! What's going on? What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? These are adults. They vote. And that's what scares me. To be honest, this was an invasion of the body snatcher vibe from me, as there was no kind of funny business in the session preceding this, no ERP. No side business or other than rudimentary interaction with NPCs to teach the new players what they can do in these games. Tim's wife and I spoke, and his daughter also called me to check up on me, and we're long-term friends, or uncle respectively, and I brushed it off, but they decided not to play again. Both have deleted Discords entirely and the server was archived, only the DM can see it. Today, after deciding not to pursue charges for their revenge-type porn, as both women stated they don't want that following them. Is that considered? I mean, I guess it's revenge type, but it was also D&D character. Oh, wait, hold on. So, was it of the... is it a revenge type porn of your character or their character? You know what? I probably don't even want to know at this point. Trying to figure this whole thing out has been really confusing. Reading through the story has been really confusing a little bit, but trying to also piece together on why in God's green earth the Barbarian and Monk are even doing that in a starting campaign where people are just learning about stuff is, you know what? Actually, I know exactly why. I feel like the problems here was DM didn't vet the players properly, or maybe for example, barbarian amongst themselves masquerade themselves as like, oh, we totally friendly new players, THXD. We totally just want to have fun and you can pay THXD, but in fact, they're kind of like perverts or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something went down the line. Either those just bad vetting, or these are just bad actors hiding their bad actor nature, but pretend to be decent players. And when they finally decide to be comfortable, they decide to just let the degeneracy go full swinging. Either way, crazy story, crazy story, insane, insanity. Were they aware that you guys were using voice changes or not? Did they even know if people were using voice changes? Did they even care if people were using voice changes? I feel like for some people, like, they don't care as long as the voice sounds fine and they can just live in their fantasy. They don't even care at that point. Maybe these guys are just so committed to the fantasy that as soon as you turned off your voice, they were just like, oh, it must be the cuckspin or something, because to them it's like, I can't break the reality that this isn't actually a woman that I'm trying to cut the feet off of or whatever, which is a really strange thing to do. Who does that? Who, like, I get somebody may like feet, but do you cut off feet? Is that the thing that people, foot fetishes do? They just cut off feet or something because they want to keep them? What? And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.